All right, folks, let's just see if we're actually live. I hear an echo somewhere. Oh, that's not an echo. That's last week's show.
Joel, you're supposed to be the tech whiz here.
Yeah, I know.
Is now live.
Are we on?
Well, I don't know. I can't push the darn thing. Why does that? So this show, the video is now live. So you try hitting it on.
All right, we are on. I see us.
Yeah, whatever.
And I hear us. All right, Keith.
Well, hey, guess what? I don't know. I've got this. Throw it out. Need one of those. What's going on, Joel? Happy this 22nd, 23rd of January.
23rd. Yeah, as I see on my computer here.
Yeah. I can hear
ready
myself.
To get going or what?
What's that?
Are you ready to get this show
Yeah, I'm
going?
Hey, folks, thanks for stopping by. Grab a cup of coffee. We got a great show coming up. Sit back, relax, and we will be right back.
All right, off we go. There we go.
From the Somerset Studios in Westchester, Pennsylvania, it's Smack and Jack Live with your co-hosts Keith and Joel Wenderman.
Yeah, right on cue. I got that cut off.
Hey, what is going on? It's a new era, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new president.
It is quite literally a new era.
Yes.
Oddly enough, I never took so much interest in the inauguration before.
No, you know what? I spent the entire day Wednesday glued to the television.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Because I knew at some point during that 12-hour process, my dear friend Dave and the Foo Fighters were going to get up on stage and play.
Oh,
and they
right.
made it about 9 o'clock, 9:30.
And how was that?
It was great. It was very, very good. These guys are great. They're coming of age. They're getting almost as old as I am. And it's good to see people that are a little bit older can still rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
How much rock and roll left in the world?
Yeah, those guys are right around my age, actually.
Yes, they are. Yep. They were one half a generation behind me. And it was good to see Garth singing.
Mm-hmm.
Good Garth. Garth, I think, is my age. He made his made his bang in the late 80s, early 90s, and then he retired. But I've had enough. I want to raise my kids. It's a good friend. Anyway,
actually, I saw his live performance. It was during my own time, so I tuned in. Yeah.
And apparently, since something about Gaga, there wasn't a red carpet, so she brought the whole red carpet with her. If you notice, when she was walking down the procession. Anyway, we got some exciting to show you later on in the show. I was surprised myself, but there is actual footage. So.
Yep. We do have pictures. So Keith, what I thought we will get into a little bit of the inauguration content of our show here, but I wanted to go over a little bit of what my family and I did last week on my birthday weekend.
Right, I forgot the week before that it was your birthday weekend, so we didn't get a chance to let the audience know it's going to be your birthday. So,
well, if we had a show last week, it would have been. My birthday was last Saturday.
Right.
It would have been a true birthday show. But okay. So we went away instead. And let me show you, Keith, where we ended up. I think probably a lot of people have seen some of my pictures already. But let me
morning, everyone.
Let's add in the monitor here. And
were you on the sassafras?
Yeah.
You were in the sassafras.
Yeah. So what a coincidence, right? So this is up at, it's called Memory Town, which is near Mount Airy. And,
I can't wait a minute. I forget where exactly. This escapes me right now. What were you talking about? Memory Town.
I typically don't know where you're coming from, but that was good. That was good. So this is near Mount Airy up in the Pocono area.
Okay.
So we stayed overnight in a little cabin, And the name of that particular cabin was the Sassafras. All the cabins had tree names. There was oak, maple, this, that, and everything. And we were assigned the Sassafras cabin, which we found was pretty coincidental, pretty ironic, considering Sassafras River and all that. So we were there for a night. It was kind of chilly. We walked around for a little bit, got some pictures and all that. So it was nice. Now, Keith, the reason why we were there, our original plan was to stay at our own house up there in the Pocono area.
Right.
But this is kind of what our own house looked like. If you notice, let's see, here's the kitchen. The stove has again been removed to put the flooring down. So they're working on the flooring. We were under the impression that they were just about done and that we could probably stay there for the night or a couple nights. Well, notice right here, this is our bed, Keith. Underneath all of this.
Wow. And no tarps on anything.
No. Well, this particular right here, this is out in kind of like this sunroom porch area, which does have a door to it.
Right. Okay.
So that did help. But believe me, there is dust everywhere. There's a layer of dust everywhere. And then this over here is our living room area, which obviously has no carpet, there's stuff in there. So we got there and we thought, man, what do we do? Do we drive home or do we, get a hotel room or something like that? So Stephanie got right on the computer, right on her phone, and then found that little cabin that we stayed in. So that ended up being a
very resourceful,
a nice weekend.
Very nice, yeah. Better than going home, sure.
Right, exactly. So that's what we did last week. So,
what was the heating like in the place?
In the little cabin?
Yeah,
they had a baseboard electric.
Okay.
And there was an electric fireplace. Some of the cabins actually had wood burning fireplaces. Ours had an electric. Yeah, which is fine. You just turn the thing on and don't worry about it.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. So who we got on today, Keith? Who we need to say?
Bird's on now. Is Bird the same as Bird Bricks?
Yeah, let me know, Bird.
Hello, Bird. Jim, Barbara. Nice to see you, Barbara. Joey's on. Themis.
Morning, Jim.
What's up, dear Themis?
Barbara?
How's the family doing?
Thank you, Themis. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? These birthdays, Keith, as I'm sure you know, boy, it's like come and go.
They sure do. They come quicker every year, and mine's just around the corner too. Yeah, I can't believe this is the last weekend of. Well, actually, I think next week's another. But we're at the end of the month anyway.
End of January, yeah.
Yeah.
And every year comes and goes, and I think, you know what did I accomplish last year? What did I do last year that was, for the better of just betterment of people and all that stuff.
Joel, I gave that up in the 5th grade.
I believe you.
I've probably done as much as I'm going to do in this life, so I'm going to stop looking back. So I look forward to what I'm not going to do. What am I not going to do this year?
That, you know what? That is such a positive spin, because if you end up doing anything, you can feel really good about yourself.
I'm ahead of the game. Yep. See that? If I don't expect too much, I will never be let down.
That's right. Okay, Keith. So I don't know if you saw this next little segment come up in your news on the phone or something like that, Google News. But, there are some head-scratching moments that we all have. And I hate to go back to this COVID thing, but when I read this particular article on my phone, I was like, man, I guess maybe these poor people were not informed. Nobody told them. I don't know. Maybe they live in an area of the country where the news just doesn't get to them.
There is a lot of places like that.
Okay. Yes.
And by the way, all those people, for some reason, congregated at the Capitol steps 2 weeks ago. It's that news vacuum.
Right.
There's my phone.
Okay. So let's find out what I'm talking about here, Keith. As your phone is ringing there.
Yeah.
I saw this here. 18 family members get COVID-19 after a holiday gathering in Delaware County. So in Delaware County, they're not exactly out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So I don't know, but still, maybe they didn't hear about this, the pandemic, don't have massive gatherings, that type of stuff. in Millmont Park, a family's holiday party, it turned out to be a super spreader. It was on December 26th. A 55-year-old Darlene Reynolds woke up with a scratchy tick on her throat. This was one day before she was planning to have family members from as far away as Canada for a holiday gathering. Now, again, maybe they didn't get the news. Try to keep your gatherings just to immediate family members. I don't know. I had no fever because I kept checking it. No fever, no fever, no fever. I said I'll keep a distance since I have a tiny little cough. The next day, family members arrived for the party. Soon, she said, people started getting sick. So we were sick, but we didn't know we had COVID. We could have had the flu, but it was scary. We got tested and tested positive. And then my husband tested positive the next day. And then my daughter was getting sick. Son tested positive. In all, 18 family members ranging in ages from 1 to 62 became sickened by the virus. Reynolds' son and husband, Stephen, ended up in the hospital. Stephen has spent the last 9 days at Riddle. He's headed in the right direction. He'll need oxygen when he comes home. So, again, I'm assuming that these people just, I don't know, they don't watch the news. I don't know. Again, a head-scratching.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to say. These people are... not going to happen to me. I'm not going to let a little virus hamper my holiday plans. I want to see my family if it kills them.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, it has killed 500,000 people. So, hey, Heather, what's happening? Yeah, it's and Millmont, they were saying I have it just a little cold, so I'm gonna distance myself. I have just a little cold. Millmont, I think, is down around Ridley. Heather, you will know this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little houses down there. So if she keeps a little distance in her little house with 20 people in it, she should be fine. Wrong.
So anyway, I wanted to share that, Keith.
Yeah.
Just head scratching moments. What do you folks think about that one? All right. So Keith, we have some inauguration and before we get to apparently you made it down there, but before we get to that,
only one of us from the Smack and Jack show is allowed to go, but I went. So,
but and you got your passes, you got clearances, this, that, and everything. So good for you. I did not get passes. I did not get a clearance. There's always a totem pole, no matter what you do, and somebody's at the top of that totem pole, and somebody's at the bottom, and I was at the bottom. But anyway, I thought we'd talk a little bit about the pardoning of what we saw with Trump, and then the pardons for some of the presidents before Trump. So whenever the presidents leave office, they have all these pardons, and we're always like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe he pardoned this person. How many pardons?" This, that, and the other thing. So let's just take a look at what these pardons, just a general look. So, how do Trump pardons and communications compare? So a pardon, a little bit different from a commutation. Sorry, commutation.
Commutation, yes.
Yeah, commutation is where they're, I believe they're shortening the sentence, not necessarily erasing it. And I believe a pardon is more of an erase of the actual. So a lot of them come down to, tax evasion. Sometimes it's drug related, maybe not necessarily heavy drug relations and so forth like that. But this is what we have for Trump. So Trump, 238 overall pardons and commutations. Obama, as you recall, a record. I think he has the highest number at 1,927, including Chelsea Manning, who was a former U.S. soldier for disclosing nearly 750,000 sensitive military and diplomatic documents, essentially espionage. And then Oscar Lopez Rivera, who was in prison in 1981 for his alleged role in 130 bomb attacks. I believe he was Puerto Rican. So obviously, right here, there's a bit of controversy in these. Right now, I only read through some of Trump's, and to me, they're kind of like cabinet members, this, that, and everything. So, I mean, you could go through and dissect all these. Bush, who's down here at 200, George W., Clinton at 459, and then George H.W. Bush was only 77. So he was, he was very, held a tight string on that. But I found that a little bit interesting. Whenever you hear of somebody, the pardons and so forth, you think, oh my gosh. And, Obama was pretty.
Yes. Well, it's, liberal and conservative there. Yeah. Which I am not 100% on. And I don't know where this, now, 1,900 overall, that must have been over the course of his 2 terms. I mean, I don't see 1,900 people on his way when they're packing up the White House, but
but still, so just a little interesting perspective there, and relatively and so forth.
Right. Yes.
Let's go on this. First off, let's get back here. And lots of head scratching this week with the latest vaccine group changes as well. Yeah. Hey, Kevin. I don't even know where we are with that right now.
Well, could I pipe in for a second? My friend Barbara said I think she is eligible. And she said, I may be eligible because I work, I'm a government employee and I work with the public and blah, 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 food chain, alcohol's a food chain, right? So I looked up and we are 1A, A1, 1A, something like that. And we're eligible. So, and I didn't really think much about it because I figure, somebody else is going to need this before I did. I didn't catch, I haven't gotten anything. I've been pretty, very hardcore with keeping my mask on, all that kind of stuff. And anyway, so that evening I saw on the news that at the present rate of inoculations, it may take a year to get all the A1s inoculated. Wow. So hopefully we can ramp things up. So I don't know how many it's like A, B, C, D, E of 1, and then you go to 2, or, I don't know how many groups there are, but it's going to be a while. So I don't think.
And then they have to set up, once you get your first one, and right now this is how all the vaccines are, then they set up your second one.
Right.
Supposedly that's how it's working. Let's see what Kevin's here. All 65 and over went from 1C to 1A just last weekend. Oh, so that's probably referring to Barbara.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what? So what's okay? From 1C just last week. Okay, I see now. Okay. It is a little. And then they say that you have to set aside the second dose. So. And then they want to give other people second dose as the first dose, and I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but hopefully this new administration will speed things up, and it looks like it might happen, but they still have to make all the stuff. So.
Yeah, and then there was the story of the 55-year-old doctor in Florida who died after he received his vaccine. So they're not sure. They, obviously the first reaction is that it was the vaccine that killed him. Because apparently it was a healthy, he was healthy pretty much all his life up until he got the vaccine, and then he passed. So there are a few unanswered questions there that certainly make things a little uneasy about going into that. So the second shot you get is the one that kind of takes you down for a little bit, maybe a half day or day of feeling not so great. So, and then so the recommendation is try to schedule that second shot on a day where maybe the next day you have off, or
right, like that. Take a sick day. Yeah. Make sure you're all your sick days.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of, unanswered, variables, fogginess and so forth. What do you got here, Kevin? That is what causes the backlog in PA for 1A. People who can stay home getting priority is a head scratcher. Yeah. Well, and then the other one was, sorry, I'm going to close this. Speaking about having lighting issues, Kevin, I'm like sitting here in the dark, I feel. I have 300 watts of light in front of me here, but you still can't see me. there was, I believe I saw yesterday, it probably was a CNN thing where, I don't know, somebody who was not even a resident got their shot. I think this was in Florida, got their shot with no problem at all. Well, meanwhile, there's people down there who've been waiting for weeks to get their shot. So I don't know how all this works.
Yeah, well, I had something on the news. Somebody from this area, he was 28-year-old, and he was not doing it maliciously. He just went on and signed up for it, and they gave him a number. And, all the questions, he made sure he said he was 28, he was healthy, he was all this kind of stuff, and he still got the vaccine. So I guess there are some,
what do you call them? Loopholes?
Or, just things that people overlook. This is, heck, everybody in the country is getting vaccinated. So, this isn't a little thing. So.
Assistant Secretary. Yeah. Okay. So how about we move on, Keith? Tell us, you want to tell us a little bit about your day?
Okay. Do we have time for that? Well,
it was on Wednesday, right? The inauguration.
Yes, it was Wednesday, and I got up and I didn't realize my friend Barbara invited me over for the day to watch, and we hung out. But before I went there, and Barbara doesn't even know this because I like to keep it hush hush. I stopped by the ceremony, and somebody got a picture of it. I don't know.
Shall we see? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to even bring this up, but I'm not bragging or anything because it's a very exclusive. There wasn't anybody allowed to go into this other, the people that were directly associated with the party.
Right. Okay. So the first picture we have here, Keith, is the one that we've already seen. This was you and President Biden.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about this moment here?
Well, this is when he's first coming in. He's actually President-elect Biden at this time, and he said,
okay,
"Do me a favor, Keith. I work out all the time. Just walk with me up to the podium. Walk in just in case I lose my footing or anything like that." I said, "Mr. B, I'm your man. All right." So we walked in together. And we chatted a little bit, and he said he liked the show. Which I didn't realize he watched the show, but him and Dr. Biden watched the show weekly. So
yeah, Smack and Jack is far and wide.
Yeah. He says I'm not quite as funny as I think I am, but we'll be talking about that. This wasn't a one-time meeting. We've been friends for a while, and we hang out on the waterfront. We jog up and down the pathway there a lot. So
yeah,
this conversation will continue.
Little known facts about Keith, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, very little. I just found out myself.
All right. So now, Keith, the ceremony progressed.
Right.
All right. And then you find yourself here.
Yeah. Well, I'm just hanging out. I mean, everybody's seat's kind of far away, and I had my mittens with me, and I was a little chilly. So.
And you're a real chin in the mask there. Tell us about why you have your mask on.
I think I was an independent today. So, I figure it's cold enough outside. Everybody's far enough away. So I just put the mask on my chin and yeah. So anyway, if you've noticed on the internet, this thing went viral.
All over.
This thing went viral. And apparently they put Bernie Sanders' head on top of that. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I noticed that.
He was a little blip in the, he's been he's an independent or something like that. Real, he seems like a nice old fella, but I don't think too many people have heard about him. And it's just funny that I'm there. You can see I'm really
enjoying
paying attention to everything that's going on. And next thing you know, this picture's all over with Bernie's face superimposed on it.
I'll tell you what, it's somebody trying to get a piece of the pie.
That's what it is. And I'm thinking, what? This is probably the last hurrah of the Russian interference with all this kind of thing. I think Russia's going to go away now that we got a different leadership in place. And I think this was just their last. I'm going to give it to these guys one more time. So.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame. But anyway, so there you are, Keith. Now, I will say there was a shot taken I believe just before the shot. Now, here you at least have your mask is right there. In this next shot, they must have told you to get that mask on, at least near you. Because right there is, you can see
Right,
your
yes.
whole neck and
Right. It has to, right in my neck.
so you at least
Very good.
you acquiesced. You put the mask around your chin there, and
Yes.
yeah, and you were not escorted out of the inauguration ceremony. It's good for you, Keith.
Nope.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay,
Yeah, we didn't get the video of me dancing with Jennifer Lopez. I kind of followed her out. We did a little jig, and yeah, it was. But nobody got the video of that. But anyway,
a little story about those mittens. They were knitted by a school teacher up in where's Bernie? Is he Vermont?
Yeah, Vermont. Yeah,
Vermont. Yeah. So apparently she took the school teacher took her children to Bernie's daughter-in-law's daycare, and so there's a connection there. And she knits, mittens, scarves, and all that stuff. So she had created those mittens for him, a while ago, and actually back when he ran in 2000, what was it, 2016?
Okay.
So yeah, so a little back.
And apparently it's reclaimed fabric or something like that. They must have taken sweaters apart or something like that.
Yeah, they dive through the Salvation Army bins that are
yes.
The green.
So there's all these really cold people up in Vermont that have little holes all over their sweaters, so Bernie could have a real fluffy pair of mittens.
Indeed. All right, folks.
Okay.
If you're getting anything out of this show today, we would love for you to smack the like button. Love the love button. Give us a share. Do something. Thanks for all your comments today. Then, yeah. Okay. So, Keith, shall we move on to some trivia today?
Yeah, let's do a little bit of trivia. I've got just a thing or two about this day in history, and then, we'll get the show moving.
All right. So we'll do our trivia. We'll do our this day in history. We'll do jokes, and then we'll get back to trivia.
Okay.
And then we'll be out of town. All right. So our trivia today will be right in front of you once again. And it all pertains to inauguration.
Oh, okay. Good.
All right. So number one, when you give your response, folks, make sure you put number one and then give your response. And then number two, we have 4 of them today. All right. So number one, have all presidents been sworn in using a Bible? Okay. Have all presidents been sworn in using a Bible? All right. Number two, who had the warmest weather at their inauguration? I will say, whenever I see everybody out there at the White House or at the Capitol building, I'm thinking, boy, am I glad I am not there. Because it's always like kind of windy. And
nobody's wearing a hat. It's like,
I know.
Nobody ever wears a hat.
I'd have a hood on. I'd be like, tied up and everything else. I'm surprised Bernie didn't have a.
No, because he's bald. As bald I am. And yes, I don't know.
Okay, so who had the warmest weather? Number 3, which inauguration ceremony was the first to be televised?
Oh.
Which one was first to be televised? Number 3. All right. Number 4. Last one. Who had the largest crowd at their inauguration? Who had the largest crowd? Okay, let's go back and recap again. So number 1, has everybody been sworn in using a Bible? Number 2, who had the warmest weather at their inauguration? Number 3, which inauguration ceremony was the first to be televised? And number 4, who had the largest crowd at their inauguration? Okay, so we'll come back to them in just a minute. All right, Keith, you want to do your this day in history?
Yeah, I just have just a couple. I just happened to see when I'm rummaging through my computer this morning. Would you believe that this day in 1957, the machinists at Wham-O, you know what Wham-O, it's a toy company, made their first batch of their aerodynamic plastic discs, known as the what, Joel?
The
Frisbee.
Well, I was just going to say the Frisbee, right? So the
Frisbee. Wow, that's something. 1957, the Frisbee was first. That's not much older than I am, Joel. And we had Frisbees when we were kids. I don't know if kids. Do you girls have Frisbees when they were little?
Yeah, we have some Frisbees here. I mean, we call them Frisbees. right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, now it's just like Kleenex. Yeah, every flying disc.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a 1849. Elizabeth Blackwell becomes the first woman to receive a medical degree.
Huh.
And just almost about 100 years later, 1997, Madeleine Albright becomes the first female Secretary of State. Remember Madeleine? She was our Iron Lady. I think she was something. I liked her. What else do we have? George W. Bush honors Women's World Cup Championship. Well, that's well, that's
all right. Let's bring this to a close. Yeah.
That's about
Great
it.
job. Great job.
All
right.
Wait a minute. One more. This day in 1556. The deadliest earthquake in history rocks China.
Wow. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. Wow, 1956, huh?
Man, it kills almost 1 million people. Yeah, I never even heard about this.
Gosh, that's horrible.
God, in 15. I mean, back then they must not have known what the heck was coming. You know, it's like,
yeah. What year was that?
1556.
Oh, 1556.
1556.
Yeah, they probably thought it was the end of the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for 1,000 people, it was.
Or
not to make too much of a joke on it, but.
Okay, let's move on to our jokes. We'll get back to our trivia, and we're going to let everybody get back to their ordinary day as a Saturday. Okay?
Yes, it's only the great thing about watching our show, Joel, it's only uphill from here. It's only going to get better from here.
It's just like setting your goal for the next year of your life, right?
Yes.
You know, everything looks rosier. So, okay. Number one, why did the disk drive become a professional goalie?
Why?
It kept making great saves. Number two, why did the microprocessor always write form letters?
Why?
It was an impersonal computer. How do you find a spider on the internet?
How?
Check out his website. And last one. Why shouldn't you take your computer into rush hour traffic?
Why?
Because it might crash.
Good. Very good.
Back.
The book is back.
I will say we read some of those jokes a few years ago, but I thought, you know what, they're good enough. We can recycle those particular jokes. So, all right, let's get back to this day in history, and then Keith, we're going to make history and get out of here, right?
Okay.
All right, let's find out what we have here.
This is actually the trivia, not the day in history. But
I'm sorry, trivia. My fault. Trivia. Okay, so have all presidents been sworn in using the Bible? The answer is no. 4 presidents were sworn in without using the Bible: John Quincy Adams, Franklin Pierce, Theodore Roosevelt, and Lyndon Johnson in 1963.
Now let's. Themis has family related to John Quincy Adams. Now, what did he use? What did they use? I mean, did they just stand there? I mean, or what?
I don't know.
Okay.
I do not know what they used. I guess maybe they did just stand there.
Maybe they just had a beer, you know?
That's right.
They were too busy holding a beer.
Okay. Next one. I'm looking through some of your responses here too. Okay. Number two. Let me get back to our stuff for me to go back and forth here. Okay. Number 2. Who had the warmest weather at their inauguration? So for number 2, we're seeing Garfield.
Lyndon B. Johnson, maybe? Is that for Obama?
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Hey, Tyler, is that on?
All right. The answer for number 2, who had the warmest weather? Ronald Reagan had both the warmest and coldest inaugurations on record. During his first inauguration in 1981, it was 51 degrees. 4 years later, the temperature was a freezing 7 degrees in Washington.
Well, I'll have to take your word for it. I don't remember that. What was the question? Well, that's something. Both the hottest and coldest.
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Okay.
I'm going to just say I was a little disappointed earlier in the show when we were talking about Bernie Sanders. Not once did you go into your Bernie Sanders impersonation.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I can't remember how to do it. The top 1% of the heat of your entire body comes out of your head. And I wasn't wearing something over top of my head. What am I thinking of? Top percent of all the percentage of the heat that comes out of your body comes out of the top. Why was I not wearing a hat? This is something I'm going to get into in my next inaugural crashing.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
I got to get some aviator glasses to do Biden.
Okay.
Sunglasses,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3, which inauguration ceremony was the first to be televised? Number 3, what was the first inauguration ceremony to be televised? And do we have a number 3 on here?
I saw Eisenhower. I think.
Okay, Kennedy. All right, Kennedy.
No, I think it was before Kennedy.
All right. Answer is
no. That was after.
Okay. Answer is Harry Truman's inauguration on January 20th, 1949.
Whoa, Harry S.
Truman. Yeah, 1949. Man, that was a long time ago, huh? Okay, and the last one here, folks. Who had the largest crowd at their inauguration? Who had the largest crowd? And I see
Obama. I'm going to go with Obama too.
So Obama.
That was a milestone.
Not a bad Reagan impersonation. Yeah, impression. Yeah, good. Okay, so the largest was Barack Obama. Barack Obama holds the record for largest crowd,
right.
1.8 million during his first inauguration in 2009. So I'm assuming the one a little bit later.
I think we did it because of the people. I can't do him at all.
You got to work on that one. Although,
yeah,
save your energy. You got to work on Biden right now.
Yeah, right.
Don't bother about Obama. Okay, folks. Keith, I think that brings us to the end of the line here. Our audience is just pretty much fried by now.
Yeah. They're all private messaging each other saying, "What can we do next Saturday morning between 9 and 10?" We got to come up with something funnier to keep us from falling asleep.
Does anybody have some pins so I can poke my eyes?
Right.
How about I put a pencil in my ear instead?
Oh, goodness sakes. Ah, Lord Almighty.
All
anyway, Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in Dallas. Huh.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, okay, because that's right. He would have had to have been done immediately, I would imagine.
Right.
After the assassination of JFK. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good. See that our knowledgeable audience is teaching us. We just
that'll be for the next inauguration. That'll be the next question in 4 years. It'll be on one of them. So stick around, guys.
Yeah.
Try not to forget that one.
In an airplane, Barbara saying.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Temperature. Kevin, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to there.
Done on Air Force Ones. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Keith, I think maybe we're done.
Yeah, I think we're done. Well, what are you doing today, Joe? I've got a little bit of work to do in my shop. I have been out of my shop for the last couple of weeks because everybody at the liquor store I work at had COVID, except for me and a gal that was one of the sales clerks.
How's that going now?
Everybody's back.
Nice.
And funny thing is about the state, as much as they care how hard you work when you need to, you step up to the plate and work really hard. You never get an attaboy because that's hard to say. Attaboy.
Right.
And everybody that was sick, they were coded differently. It wasn't sick time. It was a different coding for. It was something set up. It was special sickness that it was a COVID thing, so they wouldn't go against the regular sick time. So they would still get paid.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it wouldn't come out of their. Yeah. So before my boss left, he said, make sure you put this in every day for everybody that's out. And I did it every single day. And my boss came back last week, and you're allowed to. You can look at your pay stub. I think it comes out a week before they actually send you the money. And all his days had, the time hours there, but no pay. And he's like, what the heck's going on? So he calls his boss, and she says, well, at the last, it'll come in the last minute. So it didn't come in. I come to work yesterday, and all those people were raving mad that they didn't get it. Now, some of the people are couples. They have other sources of income. Regardless, you're working for a living. You've got that money, a lot of that money earmarked for rent, child support, anything. And these people didn't get it. So my boss called his boss again, and the answer was, that's above my pay grade. I probably shouldn't be saying this. If anybody that works, but anyway, so that's the state for you. So anyway, it'll get sorted out eventually, and
maybe by next year it'll all be cleared up, right?
Yes, it'll clear it up, and everybody will get paid and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, let's get out of here before anybody finds out that I'm on here. Are we going to be on next week, Joel?
Yeah, I think so. Keep an eye on I think we'll do a show next week, and unless I need to go up to the house to do stuff. So
67. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, we can do it from the shop, from the up there too. And
yeah, I see what you're saying, Kevin. So, right, if it was in the airplane, it was probably the highest temperature for an inauguration. Yeah. Okay.
No. Anyway. Okay. All righty. Well, thanks for
we're gonna get
a little bit of a.
Thanks, guys. So
we'll
next week, if not next week, we'll see you the following week.
Yeah.
Keith.
Thanks for stopping by, guys. Remember, you deserve a thought of your own. So
tune in for Smack and Jack Live to live, laugh, and learn. And we shall see you guys next show. How about that?
Have a great week, guys. Thanks for stopping by,
guys.
Jack up your knees, smack check it out, smack jack up your knees, smack check it out, smack in the face, jack up your knees.